Hey everybody, it's Andy here, aka Montoli, and we're back for another Vintage League, and we are on the precipice of Eternal Weekend North America for Vintage, and this is what I'm looking at playing. It's something reasonably close to this, so you're probably seeing this post-champs. I haven't been releasing my videos uh, up until now. Not a whole lot to say about this if you've seen some of my other videos. I mean, the idea behind this deck is much like any other Benjamin. Get your Benjamins into the yard, get your Hollow One Root Wallas to get them going for your turbo plan. One of the things about this deck, though, is it's not as reliant on the Bazaar or the Graveyard as other Bazaar decks are. Typically with this, because the card quality is so high, you're not wanting to discard outside of that original turn. You're wanting to cast your cards, your Hex Drinkers and your Collector Roofs very consistently on turn 2 because we've got 7 different Cradles in the deck. Uh, we are resilient to a lot of the things that hurt Bazaar decks in Tinker into Sphinx, where we got Oath, we got Breach, we got Citadel covered because we have 3 main deck with Siege and a 4th in the yard. You are seeing correctly, I am playing Grafdigger's Cage. This deck only needs its graveyard ever so sparingly to get a Benjamin into play. We can control when we cast our cage, much like everything else we're casting our deck. We can consistently cast Grafdigger's Cage as well. So this is the deck in a crux. I'm going to take you in here now quickly because I have an opponent waiting, and we'll talk a little bit more about the deck as we go along, okay? If you haven't done so, please hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, guys, here we are in round 1, and we are playing CradleVine today. We've won the die roll. Hand's a little bit awkward, but because we've won, I mean, I don't think I would actually consider putting this one away, but it's a little bit clunky, but the Chalice is really what makes this go. And hopefully our Bazaar will set us up into having a nice hand here. But we're going to have to discard a couple cards, and, you know, at first glance, we probably could discard a Strip Effect. We don't really know what my opponent's playing, so I don't know that we want to, I beg your pardon, excuse me, get rid of a second Bazaar, but we'll see. I think it's very much contingent on how our hand ends up shaping up. We'll find another Root Walla. The Cradle becomes a... Well, the Cradle is going to be very high value because I'm wanting to cast some spells here on turn 2. That's always the hope when you're playing this deck. I think my main deck for this is pretty solidified. I've been playing the same 60 for quite some time now. I have definitively moved off of Hogak in the deck and have been that way for quite some time. I just, as much as I like Hogak, there's always a tension in trying to cast him versus attacking. I think graveyard cards coming in, most players are playing them against you, and I just eschew that completely and utterly, other than the Vine. So, all that said, let's get going on our Bazaar here and see what we find. Okay, fantastic. This is just fantastic. I am moving away from the Bazaar plan here. My opponent is more than welcome to go after my Bazaar here. It may be a little bit greedy, but I think it's okay. We're going to pass turn here. Now, there's a world where I get punished if I draw very poorly off the top of my library. If I get wastelanded, I may wish I had it, but I think given the composition of my hand here right now, okay. So a little bit of an interesting scenario here because I am feeling a little bit skittish about casting into a Force of Will here and losing my Collector Roof, but I think it's probably okay. Oh, geez. Okay. This is going to be a powerful turn. Not too often you hit that nicely. I am going to main phase the Cradle here because I am absolutely wanting to get the Collector Roof into play this turn. And we'll see if they have the Force here. At worst case scenario, they'll have a Construct next turn. And, oops, we definitely want to be pumping. That was the point of doing it main phase. So we get a little bit more value there. And we're getting in for some decent damage here. We're going to have our opponent dead next turn. So that came together very, very nicely. Obviously, hitting the Hollow One Vine and Root Walla was pretty lucky. But nonetheless, I mean, our plan did shape up how we anticipated. We were able to get a turn two collector from the play. Our hand shaped up pretty nicely, more so on the second Bazaar activation. Okay, nice win for us there. I'm not sure the potency of my opponent's deck. We didn't see enough of it. On the draw, I could maybe see bringing in a couple of traps. You know, I don't know if they have a breach component or what, but we'll start here. My opponent saw a pretty explosive side of our deck there. They might try and race and go off here, and maybe having the traps could be a game saver. I'm not crazy about Mind Break Trap. I've been down to one for quite some time. I think they're reasonably poor cards, but at Eternal Weekend, I think there's going to be a moderate amount of combo running around, and it does offer you a certain level of safety having them in your deck, and of course they can be huge if they end up working out. So I'm a little bit on the rocks about it. I think in its place, I would consider a Pithing Needle. There's some cards like the Planeswalker deck is running around and being able to shut off a Deathrite Shaman, an Oko, a Minsk and Boo, or an opposing Bazaar or something like that could be a pretty big game. Wasteland, whatever, you name it, Urza Saga. The card just has good utility. When the Yuta Takahashi Planeswalker deck, Control Planeswalker deck, was running around in quite a bit of prevalence there last couple weeks, I did move into a Pithing Needle because my deck does have a lot of difficulty once they establish themselves with all the different Planeswalkers, and I found the Pithing Needle would be pretty good, actually. So I know it's a one of, and I don't have really any ability to search it up, but we put cards in our decks, and you draw them, and they can be game changers for you. And as I say, a card like Pithing Needle is very generic. You can hit lots of different things with it. It's rarely a dead card, and the nice thing about when you're playing Bazaar Baghdad is you don't like your cards, you have an opportunity to get rid of them. Okay, here we go. Not a very good looking hand here. Be fantastic if we could trade our powder for a Bazaar. We do a powder here. Looks great. We'll keep that. We got some nice interaction, Force of Vigor here if need be. Big question is, would I once upon a time before doing that? I probably would, given the context of my hand, and just get rid of the Collector Roof and hope to recoup some other way. I don't think my opponent's really with me here. I think they're double queued. They've been gone for the better part of the last 4 minutes here, so do apologize for the slow play, guys. I will continue to try pausing this, but it's a little bit cumbersome. Yep. So this is one of the nice things about my deck is that I'm not dead to this. Now, this given construct of my hand is a little bit of a problem. Because I don't actually have a green land to cast something as I stand. I need to find my Yavimaya Cradle of Growth or Boseiju, but I think I have a pretty good chance of finding that off the Once Upon a Time, and I'm going to do that in case my Force of Vigor ends up failing. Like, this is a pretty good value Force of Vigor for me if it works. Okay, we didn't really find what we were looking for here. think I'm going to take the root wall and really just hope this works. And if it doesn't, we'll hopefully draw something off the top here. Okay, there's a Boseiju. So I think I strip my opponent here. And just get them off the Saga here. They only got 3 cards in hand, so I don't think they're going to be too explosive on me. And hopefully by turn 2, we're going to have some good stuff going. Jeez, okay, that was unfortunate. But this is an example of, like, we would have been dead if this was a different type of Bazaar deck potentially. And we have now been able to cast a Root Walla. Now we're going to get our Gaia's Cradle going, get us up to 2 mana, and that itself is not doing a whole lot other than pumping my Root Walla right now, but we're playing Magic, whereas we may not have been able to play Magic with previous iterations of these style of decks. Having a 3 main Yavimaya Cradle of Growth really has changed the way this deck operates. Okay, that's a little bit scary. Okay, well, I think that's decent for me. I'm going to play around Flusterstorm a little bit here. I'm going to let my opponent do their thing here before I get focused on the Vigor. Makes me unable to play around Flusterstorm, but I want to see if I can get something a little bit more value. Like if they decide to go for the Vault Key combo or something like that we can respond. This could be a Hull Breacher. That would be unfortunate. Could have been a reason to do the Bazaar earlier over the Cradle. This is a Tinker. Yeah, I mean, let's see what they get. Okay, they found a Sphinx of the Steel one. All right, well, that's not ideal for me. But of note, our Bazaar is now on, and we are moving towards 3 other Boseijus. That's a pretty good one, too. See what we get. I think this is probably just higher discard equity at this point. Perhaps I play the Lotus. I don't know. Just to have Force of Vigor up, and just in case I get Vault Keyed or something like that. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is not as definitive as we've seen in the past, and because of the presence of Boseiju. Now, that said, I'm in a bit of a bad spot here. They're going for a key here, almost assuredly. It's a gamble to let this resolve because I have a mental misstep, but I think it's just such a high likelihood that that's what they're going to go for. This is the correct line. So, how gambly do I want to be here? That's the big question. I think it's kind of foolhardy to play with fire here. And we just need to find a Boseiju, guys. Yep. Soul Guide Lantern it is. I could get rid of both of these things here, but this is not my primary plan. I'm much more interested in finding a Boseiju here, and I need the cards to be able to look. So let's see what we can find. I'm going to try and casting a Once Upon a Time now and see if we can't find one. Reasonable chance. Is that a Boseiju in there? We did find a Boseiju. Okay. And we're just going to get rid of this gaffer here. And get it going. Next turn I probably will crack my Lotus to get the double Blazing Root Walla going, given the opportunity. But that's what I'm talking about, guys. The consistency of being able to remove these once game-ending threats and things like Sphinx of the Steel Wind are no longer what they were. And my deck is very consistent at getting rid of them. You know, of course, you randomly do lose to Sphinx of the Steel Wind, but I would say more often than not, with this current build, I'm not losing to it. I'm beating it. And not to intone that we have this locked up. My opponent has 2 cards. They're the ones playing the combo deck here. We are trying to beat my opponent down. And, you know, how good we are from this position, I'm not sure. Do they have a Hull Breacher here? I don't have a luxury of really playing around it, to be honest. And you know, it does. They have so much mana. I don't know that it really matters much. Mindbreak Trap. I actually really like that. I can cast that. I think I saved my Lotus for next turn. Let's get her going. Three, 6, 9, 12 next turn. If nothing else happens, I should be all right. Oh, they do have something here. Yep, I'll let that go. It significantly decreases my clock for now, but I think that's all right. Okay, Mystical Tutor. I will counter whatever they go and get. Probably a Yogg Will is my guess. Demonic Tutor. I'm not going to fool around here, guys. Like, my opponent could just go do something like an Urza's Saga, and it's really bad for me if they do. Say, this would be a first time I've hard cast a Mindbreak Trap out of this deck. My opponent probably did not expect that. The good news is I stopped their spell. The bad news is that my Blazing Root Wallas are not looking very fast. Right now I'm dealing 3 a turn. That's more than enough time for my opponent to be able to turn this around. We're going to need some help. We're going to need some help. And one of the things I like more about the Jund version versus the CradleVine version is that you can pump these things, and they do kill very quickly. I'm going to Bazaar in the upkeep here. One of the few cards in my deck that's really bad. I'm going to say almost anything off the top is reasonable there. Wonder if they're just going to crack their soul guide here. They have not. They're very stubbornly sitting on it. Okay, Academy. Don't want any of those. Just going to do it again here while I can. Jeez, don't really like that. Get rid of those quality cards. But it's maybe making it so my opponent is not drawing with their soul guide here. They're, for fear of these vines coming back. No, especially I have double bazaar. Uh-oh. Attack Faden, that can't be good for me. Nice. Okay. I have a shot with these root wallas now. Or these Vengevines. Okay. I'm going to do one now. Amazing. Okay. Now that I have the 4 blazing, I do actually think it is worth using the second bazaar now. If I didn't hit it, I may be more apt to draw it, because if I can't cast this one. I need to discard it to bazaar, but I think this is a reasonable way. And we hit. Okay, we're getting our vines back. Nice. I'm curious what we would have drawn. A wasteland. We had exactly 11 to kill them here. Yeah, very nice win for us, guys. Beat a Sphinx of the Steel Wind and a Pithing Needle on the draw on turn 1, game 3 there, or game 2. So we beat. We didn't get to use our Bazaar turn 1 because of a Needle, and we beat a Sphinx of the Steel Wind. This is what I'm talking about with this deck. It is very, very resilient. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you next round. Okay, guys, here we are, round 2. CradleVine on the die roll. Seems good. Love when I get these chalices. The hand itself is a little awkward because we don't have a lot of discard equity here, but the chance that we have a turn 1 Collector Roof plus a chalice or something like that is pretty sweet. And I want to get rid of Force of Vigor and the Root Walla. Gonna get rid of the Black Lotus here. If my opponent's playing Workshops or something like that, I could get busted, but actually I can't because Chalice is going to resolve its Workshops. So a mental misstep out of our opponent. Okay. I think my opponent is playing PO. I don't know how good the extra Besaju is, but probably fine. Probably could get rid of some number of Hex Drinkers. I don't really think it's what I'm looking to do here, but... Turn 1 Collector Roof. I mean, the problem is I've got this double Mox in here. If the Youth gets countered, it's pretty bad. I just think we could do better than this. Yeah, this is much, much better. Let's see how we do. It's an awkward hand insofar as that, you know, I'm not really keen to discard any of these cards, but just a quick tinker. Yep. Okay. This, as you saw last game, is beatable. So let's take a look here and see what we can find. We are after a Besaju here. I guess we'll take a holo one. I think we got to try and get our plan going here. We got a Besaju. Dump a Collector Roof here. I have to play this out because I need the mana for Cradle. And we're just going to have to hope next turn we can do something here. I mean, we have the tools here to get rid of this before we're going to die. Okay, Pithing Needle. Sweet. That does apply a certain amount of more pressure on me here. I might not be able to pull this off now that I've lost the Bazaar and my ability to get my extra creatures into play here. Yep, a little bit of a tight spot. The Time Walk was really good. The Bazaar being shut off we could live with, but the Time Walk was pretty tough on us. I did contemplate waste-standing my opponent there. And in hindsight, it probably was the right thing to do, but let's see if we can pull this out. I'm going to say Yavimaya Cradle of Growth is really what we're looking for here. We will survive this. What we have afterwards is a little bit more suspect, but it's just the world we're living in. Okay. Once again, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, gone, unless they have a Stifle. Okay, let's get going here. Let's get busy living our life. Missing my needle a bit, or my Bazaar here a little bit. But I am not complaining. Could PO here. If they do, I am possibly going to get rid of that needle. Yogwill would suck, but okay. They have 2 mana to work with here. I guess they can bring in Mana Crypt as well. A little bit unfortunate, but I can only do so much here. They POing? I don't want them drawing 3 cards here. I want my Bazaar back, but not bad enough that I think I would do that. I've got a Saga covered. We're going to cast a Collector Roof here, which is going to be very good. Hopefully that Mana Crypt is going to cause them problems. We have a lot of life to get back from them here, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, they're just pondering now. That's smart. Is sorting? No, they mistapped. Still a pretty good Yogwill for them. They shuffled. Okay. I'd love to wasteland them. I don't have the luxury. I just got to get this Collector Roof in and just pray it resolves. Okay. Seiju. I think I cast it, but like, do I get rid of their academy here? 1, 2, 3. All right. I think against my better judgment, I'm going to waste their academy. I think it's one of their more powerful cards here. I know that they have a black source there as well. And I think I'm going to play out the Root Walla and just get my business continuing to go on here. I am vulnerable to Urza Saga this way. It's something notable. I probably lose to a Saga, but I didn't want to give them the option of POing easily here. I think that is a far more likely thing, but I could be wrong. Another land off the top, non-Bazaar land, allows me there it is. All right. Let's get busy trying to kill them. We are chipping away here. 2-turn clock. Okay. Figure. Not very good, is it? I think at this stage, I'm going to play out the Bazaar because of the presence of Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. If I draw one, I will be happy I have the extra land. Okay, guys, beat a Resolve Sinks of the Steel, win twice that match, as well as Tabernacle of Pendrevale and Pithing Needle. Just very, very consistent. Once again, a nice showcase of the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next round. Okay, guys, here we are in round 3 of our Vintage League, CradleVine. Unfortunately, we've run into Dredge. This is a deck that I'm consistently losing to, and of course, at the hands of Wizard in particular, I've lost, I think, 2 matches in a row to them. I'm hoping we can have a little bit of a better one here this time around. This hand just doesn't seem... Oh, I guess the Bazaar fixes it. I guess I'll keep it. On the draw here to boot, not ideal. Probably not going to have enough tools to get through, but maybe we can get lucky. Dredge keeps her 7. It's tough to beat. Nothing we can do there. Hollow 1 down. Let's just hope they have a brick of a Bazaar here. That was anything but a brick. They got a hollow 1 here. Yep. See no reason to not do this now. Get rid of this. We're going to need some luck. Yeah, all the amalgams are coming. Oh, they just have double Bazaar. Okay. I feel like 45% against this deck. We do have some decent tools against it. Definitely don't want Force of Bears, and I definitely don't want Collector Roof. The Hex Drinker is actually surprisingly better than you'd think. Maybe just have a couple. I don't think I need Moxes in this matchup. They're more for Leyline of the, or excuse me, Tabernacle. I think this is where I want to be. This hand just doesn't have enough. I can't do anything right. That's the problem. This hand does some stuff. Still very, very vulnerable to a grief. But hopefully our Bazaar can shape us up a little bit here. And hopefully we can get our Vengevine going turn 1. That would be nice. Tempted to keep the first hand. I mean, we could have cast, you know, it might have been all right, but my gut is just be a little bit too slow. Keep this one and put the powder on the bottom. Opponents kept 7. Oh, down to 6. Okay. Okay, we did not hit. I just don't have the luxury here of holding the root wall in my hand. It just is what it is. If I have to burn endurance, I will, but I shouldn't have to do it here. The big problem I'm facing here is, am I going to get hit with a grief? Wasteland. Okay, this is fine. Not fine, but it's tolerable. You have a Maya Cradle of Growth, and I guess we just get in here. Let's see how bad the damage ends up being here. I'm still worried about Force of Will, but it just is what it is. Oh, Cage was a really nice draw for me. I think what I'm going to do is end up Besaging here and casting a Cage. I don't think there's any point in beating around the bush here. Okay, nice. Good clean win there. Gonna get a little tougher on the draw here, unfortunately, but I think it's okay. I don't think I'm gonna worry about hollow one here. I've got the Besagers and my own hollow ones to deal with them. It begins with 7. Jesus, this guy is killing me. I think we have to mull this one. Much better. Much, much better. Interesting. Let's hope no hollow one. My opponent has been very consistent at finding double bazaar against me, and um, it's been pretty tough. This stuff, I don't mind that. Let's cast this and see what we can find. Oh boy, that was not very good. That really was terrible. My goodness gracious. They're F6 here. I think I just cast the endurance here, guys. I feel like my opponent is F6'd, but maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm going to take a gamble here and get the Hex Drinker into play. They found a stinker. Double Icarid. I guess my question is that, oh wow, look at this. Pretty good trap there. The reason I'm running Ravenous Trap is strictly because I know Dredge is a difficult matchup for me. As long as they don't get wasted here, I think we're in good shape. Oh, Triple Bazaar, wow. All right. I don't know that they should have played that out. I guess Chills changes things for them. How many Chills did we go through here? Just one. Okay, well, maybe that's the way to go. Do I want to chump block this thing? I have a feeling I just want to sit back and kill this thing. Just go for 4. Like, I can hit them for 8 here. The Chills are what scare me. They can't kill me that way. I think this is correct. I think just being careful here is correct. Yep. Let's get a double block in here. Don't like discarding all these good cards. Giving up a little bit of damage here, but I think that's okay. My opponent has 3 chills. And that only puts me down to 1. All right, nice win for us there, guys. I have had quite a bit of struggles with Dredge, but I feel like Dredge has been high rolling me, and we have definitely made some accommodations in our deck to be able to combat Dredge. And despite I think Grafdigger's Cage is a very good card against Dredge, I don't like the fact that it's vulnerable to Force of Vigor. But we were able to utilize our blanket effects there in our Endurance and Rav Trap and take over the game there. So, and of course, as you see, my opponent's sideboarding in Leyline of the Void against me. It does nothing. See you guys next round. Okay, guys, here we are in round 4 of our Vintage League. We're playing CradleVine. We've won the die roll. How do I feel about this hand? Not very good. Much better. Geez, that's a huge upgrade. I think we can put the Yavimaya Cradle of Growth away here. I'm not 100% sure what I'm playing against. Like, maybe the Force of Bigger just isn't that good, but I think that's okay. We need some discard equity anyway, so we'll see what that ends up being. I'm not going to play the Black Lotus first before the Bazaar, because the reason is if I draw a Once Upon a Time, I would like the ability to cast it, or at least have the option of doing so. Exactly what ended up happening. Now, the problem here that we're faced with is I cannot do all of this. I think I dumped the Cradle here. I have a very reasonable chance of hitting another land here. I think I like the Hex Drinker. Like, if this is a Tabernacle deck, obviously we get burned really hard. And if this Lotus doesn't resolve, it's bad. But my opponent might be aggressive. They're not. Okay, paused there. Here we go. Strong start. Mm-hmm. Okay, not sure what that means. Probably Ancestral is my guess, but Cradle? Mox is not really what I want. Is my opponent going to kill my Oof here? They are. Ancestral, geez, good start from them too. So I think I'm going to attack with the Hex Drinker and the Hollow One here. I'm going to leave the Root Wallet back, and the reason is that I'm fearful of my opponent Ragavanning me. At least this way I'm making them pay a tax to do it. Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. Gaia's Cradle will say in my Hex Drinker out of range of anything but Oko. Okay. Time Walk, darn. Opponent's had a very nice start. Notice, yeah. Yeah, not liking my spot here. I have no cards in hand. My opponent is doing things over there for sure. I've gotten a Wasteland off Ancestral Time Walk iteration. Yeah, strip mine, okay. Could be just setting up a really nice breach kill here, but we'll see. I mean, I am coming in for, like, they're on a 2-turn clock as we stand. Hopefully it's not a Dread Horde. That would be unfortunate. This is a main deck Shattering Spree? Okay, they decided to just get rid of the Hex Drinker now rather than gambling with it. That does make sense. Okay, well, I did choose correctly, didn't I? That would have been dashed for sure had I not done that. And let's get it going, right? That's unfortunate. Would have loved both of those. Gonna plow in here. I mean, we're still in a lot of trouble here, but I liked our line there a lot of not letting, of not attacking with the Blazing Root Walla. And probably just cast another one here is my guess. IE, okay. And they're gonna 100% strip mine me here. Good news is we have this Mox Emerald here, and that does allow us to cast our green 1-drops. Mega Man, okay. My opponent did not wasteland me here. Strip mine me, that's really crazy. Okay, I'm not really keen to let them come in with Ragavan here. I think I just sit back on this one. I'm not killing them this way, right? As I currently stand, I need some help. Attack fade, yep. So we're going to lose this one for sure here. There's nothing I can do about it. Masaju, okay. This time they're not going to make the mistake. That almost cost them last time. Had I hit a Root Walla there, it would have been very different. Okay, we're not winning this one here. We had a really nice start to our game there. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little surprised that we lost that one. But my opponent had a very broken turn themselves and, had all the cards, right? Ancestral Time Walk, Black Lotus, all the wastes. They were really good against me. So I think we just want to get rid of Vigors here. And aside in all my endurance, I have a strong suspicion that they are a graveyard breach deck. And this is the guy here we want to take it home for us. If I knew they were overt breach, I would definitely bring in the cage. There is a world where we could. Bring in another Besaju. I don't know how much I like that. Okay, I think this is decent. There's those ley lines again. How much do I want to play around Tabernacle here? Like, probably not enough to keep the mocks, right? I'm going to take the Hex Drinker here. I think Hex Drinker is really good against what my opponent's doing over there. Next turn we can cast a Collector Roof, or we're going to attempt to. I mean, this is not a stellar start from us by any means, but we have some strong tools here next turn. Okay, yep. Not sure what I like more here. The Besage or the Yavimaya. They're both good. Guess if I draw Bazaar, the Yavimaya is better. Let's get this guy in. We've got some bolt protection here. Tabernacle comes in, we keep our Hex Drinker, we let the Root Walla go. Thought scour. They're scouring me? Yeah, okay. What do they get? Hollow One and Bazaar Baghdad. Yeah, those are pretty good ones, aren't they? Got it in. Next turn I can put the Hex Drinker up. I can protect my Collector from Bolt, at least insofar as if my opponent wants to force a will, they can. I think like, I'm not thrilled to be letting them do the cantrips here, but I don't think that's how I want to use my misstep here. Chooses to not shuffle. Okay. It's a dead card. Do they have a Tinker? They could have. I am going to gamble that I can keep my Collector Roof on the table here. It's a bit scary, but okay, they're not messing around with any of that stuff. I have a feeling it's Tinker, but it requires them to have both a land and the Tinker. Okay, i.e. Agaea's Cradle will win the game for me. Okay, nice clean win there. I have not seen Urza Saga out of them. Like, I don't think Ravenous Trap or Mindbreak Trap is where I want to be. I could maybe cut Chalice on the draw. Just bring in something like a Force of Vigor. Let's try this out. Just not 100% sure what I'm playing against here. Like these blue decks are so ubiquitous with what they're doing. It's hard to tell. It's a nice looking hand here, as long as we don't get our Bazaar shut off. Okay, this is an Ancestral Hands by the look of it. Don't mind having Endurance here. We're definitely going to Bazaar. It's very possible my opponent is just on Tabby here. We did not hit a land, unfortunately. It makes me a little disappointed, but play out my Ruby here, see if that resolves. Okay. They have a Tabernacle here. There's nothing else that makes sense. Okay, well, I'm not going to play my Hollow One then. Okay, very good pulse at reading the board there. Okay, we did find a Wasteland this time. At least that is something. I don't feel like I need a second Bazaar, but maybe I do. Like, maybe it's okay. I think I can probably let this Vigor go. Yeah, I think I let the Bazaar go here. Okay, I don't think I care about the Tabernacle here. I have a second Wasteland. I didn't necessarily expect the waste out of them, but it's not a big surprise, to be honest. Okay, my opponent seems to be stuck on land here. If we can punish them somehow, like finding a green source would be just our best thing for sure. Okay, that's fantastic. Don't necessarily feel like it's going to resolve, but of note, my opponent is at 9 life now. I'm coming off the green here. They have to remove both of my creatures here in order to survive this. And the reason I did this specifically is because of a Saga. If a Saga comes down, I can stop it before it allows them to time walk me. Okay, guys, another nice win from us there. I think we read the board really nicely that game. We didn't play into the Tabernacle any farther than we needed to. And once again, my opponent, this is definitely the best hate you can play against Hogak Vine, but you only have a turn to get it going, and it gets nullified by cards like Gaia's Cradle. So hate is just not as effective against this deck as it is other decks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you for a trophy match. Okay, guys, here we are, round 5 of our Vintage League with CradleVine. We're actually playing for a trophy. We have won the die roll. It looks like our opponent's a Doomsday player, and Doomsday is not a card that we've seen a lot of recent times, so um, could be a tough match for us, but let's see what we can find here. I think we just powder that. Not happy with that. Unfortunately, I think we got to go down to 5 here. Okay, that's much better. I'm going to keep that one. I like the Hex Drinker, but I don't think it's where we need to be. Put the Wasteland away. I could see my opponent being aggressive on the Once Upon a Time here, but let's see. Not great, but this at least ensures that we're going to get some pressure on them. Oh, that was really nice. Okay. No, this is, of course, presuming we are playing against Doomsday. I don't know, but that's the only results I see on Magic Online for them. So that's it. This hand, as good as it turned out to be for a 5, we might run up a little bit short against Doomsday, depending on how powerful a hand they have. I think hitting the hollow one was pretty nice here. We'll just pass turn there. Okay, that's what we got. And hopefully the strip mine is going to be really disruptive here. Like, I'm hoping they're just cantripping, digging for something, giving us an opportunity to untap and try and kill them. Okay, they are fetching. Let's just see if they're going to throw a Doomsday on the stack here. Dark Ritual. Okay, basic island. That's good because we have the answer to that. Now let's hope they bottom. One top, one bottom. Okay. I mean, let's get going, right? Do this pre-combat so they can't daze me when I cast the hollow one. So it's not going to be easy for my opponent. I don't know what they ended up putting on top, but the truth of the matter is that they have to win right now. And Doomsday certainly can do that, but it's not easy. They have the land. Okay, that's good news for me, I think. Let's hope it's a bottom. Okay, nice mulligan to 5 there. We guessed right what our opponent was playing. We are playing the 2 Mindbreak Traps this time, which is really nice. We've got the Surgicals, which I do think helps as well. Beg your pardon, excuse me. Okay. Honestly, I don't think Sage is offering us a whole lot here. They are a Tabernacle deck, so Force of Vigor is just an easy cut from this matchup. I could see Hex Drinker just being the card we don't want here. So to explain some of my mindset, these cards, Endurance and Surgical Extraction, both have decent value against Doomsday. Sometimes, depending on the build of the Doomsday, you can wasteland your opponent's Underground Seas and make it very difficult for them to win because they don't have any other black sources outside of a Jet and a Lotus. Some players now have skewed towards playing one Watery Grave in their deck so they don't die to that combo. In addition to that, just in general, when your opponent creates their Doomsday stack, hitting their Doomsday in their yard with a Surgical shuffles their pile. And that's the same for Endurance. It puts it back, with the trigger on the stack. If you're lucky with the Oracle, you can put stuff on the bottom of their library to disrupt their game plan. Okay, but plan A for us here is to try and beat them down. Most Doomsday decks are carbon copied after the player Discover N's list, and Discover N is on 1 to 2 Tabernacles, depending on the day, and 4 Leyline of the Voids. They usually will bring all of that in. Leyline of the Void, as you know, is a dysfunctional card against my deck, so it's like a mulligan in most cases for them. Hopefully that doesn't roast us here where we end up with a double Vengevine hand and do a Leyline. But that said, let's see what we can do here, guys. I don't dislike our setup. A little bit harder on the draw here, but we know what we're playing against, and this hand is not good enough. If it had a Bazaar, this would be fantastic, but we have to mulligan this. Opponent kept their hand. Yeah, no, we can't keep that. Okay, that'll do. I really do like the Chalice here. There it is, folks. They did actually end up mulliganing because this doesn't do anything. Okay, they're just going for it. Where this could be really dangerous for my opponent, like if they can kill me here, I mean, so be it. There's not much I can do about that. But if I get to untap, I have a very dangerous combination here of Wasteland and Surgical. And if I find a green card in particular off the top of my library, I've got the tools I need to win this match or win this game. Now, we're asking a lot. Are we going to get to untap? Because they're almost assuredly they're going to go for a Lotus kill here. Fetch lands in their hand don't matter after they've doomsdayed unless they have one in their pile, which I don't think is a typical line out of vintage decks in general, but let's see. My opponent can kind of slow kill me here because I don't have any pressure on the table, and let's see. I'm not going to focus too much on what they've done here until I know that I'm getting another turn. Like a Street Wraith could be bad for me. Street Wraith's really the only card that's bad for me. Okay, we are getting another turn. Mox Sapphire Jet. So they have gone for a Lotus. How many lands are here? 1C, 2C, 3C. So all the C's are there. What about Basic Island? Basic Island could be in their hand. Yeah, I don't see a Basic Island. Tabernacles in their yards gone. What did they use? Is it Gush or Ancestral? Days. There's Gush. So they've used Ancestral, Lotus. Did they go for double Oracle? They may have. Okay. Let's find a green card here right off the top. I'm going to play this now. I'm going to hope this Chalice of the Void resolves. I didn't do a force count, but they're pausing like they have a force. 1, 2, 3. So there is a force in their pile or in their hands. They've just conceded. Okay, guys, there you have it. A really nice clean 5-0 for us. I felt like we saw a pretty good mix of the metagame there. We beat Dredge, we beat Doomsday, we beat the mix mash between, Grinx's Tinker, Breach decks, and yeah, I felt like this league went really well. Validation that a lot of what I'm doing over here uh, does face the majority of the metagame really well, and uh, that said, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I hope you're enjoying this video series. I know it's been a slew of CradleVine decks that I presented over the last month that have all kind of just come out at once. But moving forward, of course, I'll be shifting post-champs, be shifting back into my mixing decks up every time I play. It's what I enjoy the most, is just brewing and messing around on Magic Online versus being overly serious about what I'm playing. But we can see you guys next time. Take care, and remember, hit that